If you believe that, I don't know what goes through your head. Hopefully maybe seeing this has kind of changed your mind, because there is no world or situation in which I could perceive a logical human being would say, well, I have this handheld light and I have this gun I can pull out that has a light on it. I need to find my keys. Which one should I pull out? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to discuss a topic that a lot of people have very passionate opinions on. One where you will see very heated debates in the comment section of videos, on online forums, and on social media posts. That is weapon-mounted versus handheld lights. Now, in reality, there is no debate. There is no should I carry this or should I carry that. You should carry both. You should have a weapon-mounted and a handheld light. So if you just wanted to come to this video and you wanted a very simple answer of which one should I carry, the answer is carry both. You can click off the video, go about your merry day. But if you want a little more of an in-depth explanation on the pros, cons, and all that good stuff on handheld and weapon-mounted lights, then stay tuned. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of handheld versus weapon-mounted lights, I want to talk about the light on your cell phone or your smartphone. Should you use it? Can you use it? Is it a viable option? No, don't use it, right? It is very, very nominally bright. It gives a little bit of illumination, but barely anything, barely noticeable. And the thing is, it is tied to your cell phone's battery. And your cell phone is not primarily an illumination device. It is a communication device. It's a research device. It's a data capturing device. And at the bottom of the list, it's an illumination device. That's a last resort. Everything else is dead. You have no other options. You got to go to your phone sort of situation. Your phone should not be your first pick. There's a scene in The Batman from 2022 where a goon is going down a hallway trying to find Batman, and he has his phone light on with his pistol instead of using a handheld or weapon-mounted light. Obviously not an ideal situation. So the point is, don't be using this, because you're going to be the person on the side of the road that's using their phone light, trying to see what's wrong, why their vehicle just broke down, looking in that engine compartment, and then you realize you're not mechanically inclined enough to work on that vehicle, but by then you've drained your phone battery, and when it's time to call that tow truck, time to call that buddy for help, you're going to be out of luck, and you're going to be playing the hitchhiking game on the side of the road. So now that I've gotten off that soapbox, what exactly is the point of carrying a flashlight, whether it's weapon-mounted or handheld? Well, first off, it is a replacement for the sun. Obviously, nothing is a substitute for the sun. The sun is far brighter than anything we can create as humans. However, when the sun is down, or when we're in a building that does not allow the sun to permeate through it, we need some way to illuminate. A lot of times that is in the form of street lamps, that is in the form of indoor lighting, but sometimes that is not available or is not functioning appropriately for the situation. And that is where a handheld or weapon-mounted light comes in. Another purpose of the flashlight, whether weapon-mounted or handheld, is self-defense. Many times, simply shining that high-output light in the direction of someone with ill intent might be enough to get them to change their mind, tuck tail, and run. Because criminals are a cowardly and superstitious type.
For as we all know, criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot. They plan and plot, but they always get caught.
Because they don't know if that's simply a private citizen with a light, or if that's a police officer with his flashlight, or if that's a police patrol vehicle with its spotlight or its takedowns. So to them, that is an instant no-go many times, and just having that high output light could change the situation in your favor. Now let's specifically talk about handheld lights. First off, should you carry one? Yes, absolutely. There is no reason not to carry a handheld light. In fact, it is one of the few EDC tools that I've been able to carry everywhere I go. Theme parks, airports, airplanes, I've been able to carry a flashlight everywhere I've ever been. I've never been told by a security guard, by a police officer, hey, you can't carry that flashlight. I've never had that issue. I've had that issue with other things, but not with flashlights. And of course, flashlights are, like I said, are a great self-defense tool. If you're in a situation where you can't carry anything else with you, simply shining that high output light might be enough to save your life. And of course, flashlights can be used in situations far outside of the self-defense realm for far more innocent reasons. It could be that situation where you're broke down on the side of the road, and instead of draining your phone battery, you can use your handheld light to see what's going on with your vehicle, whether it be a flat tire or an issue with your engine compartment. Or you could be in the parking garage or the parking lot, and either the sun is down or there's not enough exterior lighting, and you drop your keys, you drop something on the ground, and you want to use your flashlight to see what's going on, find your keys, find your lost item. Or it could be a far less innocent situation, a situation where someone is walking towards you, approaching you late at night in that parking garage, in that parking lot, and of course it's not a situation where you can draw your firearm. You don't know yet. Are they a threat? Are they just someone going to their own car? Are they someone who does have ill intent? Well, you can find out with this light. Like I said many times, that light will get them to turn the other way, or it will show that they have a knife, that they have a gun, that they have a baseball bat, and they have some ill intent and they are coming your way. So being able to pull this out, whether it is for an innocuous reason, like you just dropped something on the ground, or a situation where you need to defend your life or the lives of someone else and there's an attacker coming towards you, having that handheld light is very, very useful. Now I can also use this handheld light in conjunction with my firearm. The ability to illuminate or identify my target while having my firearm out is very important, and if I do not have a weapon-mounted light, the handheld light can allow me to identify and see what exactly I'm aiming and ultimately shooting at. However, it does come with its disadvantages. I will never be as good of a shot one-handed as I will two-handed. Two hands is always better than one when it comes to operating a firearm. So the fact that I will have to sacrifice a hand on my gun to use the handheld light is a disadvantage. However, there's a solution. Now, what is that solution? Well, it's a weapon-mounted light. Yes, there are products out there like the Theorem Switchback that let you retain control of your handheld light while you're operating your pistol, but they never work as good as just a classic weapon-mounted light. It moves around, it's kind of annoying on you, it may end up shining back in your own face, and yes, of course, you can do the separated or, like the FBI or the different styles of shooting with a pistol light or pistol with a light, but it's never going to be as good as just using a weapon-mounted light. A weapon-mounted light is so much more intuitive. I can so easily go from my proper grip to turning the light on to turning the light off when I'm done with it, versus having to finagle and fiddle with something else in my non-dominant hand. Now, many people believe they will not encounter such a low-light situation where they need a weapon-mounted light, and it's very possible you never will. It's very possible you'll never encounter a situation where you need your firearm. However, there are plenty of situations where the lights can turn off. Blackouts, storms, so many normal natural situations, or perhaps if you're in some sort of attacker-based situation, an active shooter, an active threat, they might turn the lights off themselves because they have a weapon-mounted light and they're not anticipating other people too. So you do not know what situation you might be in. You can only prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And having that weapon-mounted light is so advantageous because it is so easy to continue to use your pistol like you normally would and simply actuate it when you need to. Now, what are the arguments and debates I actually see online when it comes to the handheld versus weapon-mounted light crowd? Well, normally I actually see most of the debate coming from the handheld light people. I very rarely see people who carry a weapon-mounted light and advocate for the use of a weapon-mounted light and say don't use a handheld light. It's normally the other way around. It's people who carry handheld lights and say, oh, I'll never need a weapon-mounted light, or I just don't need a weapon-mounted light. Now, the first argument I hear is, well, I can just shoot with my handheld and my pistols in separate hands. And yes, that's absolutely doable and possible, and you can train to a high level. But I don't care who you are. Even if you're a grandmaster shooter, you will always shoot better with two hands versus one. That's just physics. So if you have the opportunity to shoot with two hands versus one, all you have to do to get that opportunity is throw on that weapon-mounted light, and now you can shoot with both hands. Of course, you can always still use the handheld light, and there are situations where the handheld light still shines, even in self-defense situations, because ultimately, I can shine this in a different direction than I'm shining this. So it allows me to illuminate different areas, or my situation differently, or maybe have my flashlight be a distraction instead of just an illumination tool. Now, another argument I hear all the time is comfort. People say it's just not comfortable to carry a weapon light every single day. And I get it. Carrying something like this X300, it can be a little bit uncomfortable to shove this down your pants every morning. However, there are other options out there these days. If this was 5-10 years ago, I would say, all right, I get it. There's really not that many good weapon-mounted light options that are comfortable. However, now there are, with things like the Streamlight TLR7 and other similar options where I can still get a nice short gun where it's no longer than something like a Glock 19, but I'm still getting a decent amount of output, and it's not one of those old shoot-me lights like the Streamlight TLR6. So these days, the comfort argument really doesn't fly. It's just you being lazy. Now, the last and quite possibly the worst argument I hear of why you should not carry a weapon-mounted light is that you'll pull out your gun when you shouldn't. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is people say, and I see this all the time in forums and videos and social media posts, people say, oh, well, if you carry a weapon-mounted light, then you'll pull out your gun to find your keys. You'll pull out your gun just to work on your car. You'll pull out your gun and get arrested for brandishing. And I'm like, what? Like, is there something wrong with your brain? In what world do you think someone would draw their gun and use their weapon-mounted light instead of their handheld light? Like, this is so much easier to use. Like, I can just, boop, pull this out. I can do whatever I need to do with my handheld light, and if I need my gun, I pull out my gun, which has my weapon mounted light. I guess one time on video, a cop used his gun to illuminate something when he shouldn't have, and now apparently everyone thinks everyone's gonna do that, and so you shouldn't carry a weapon mounted light because you might be tempted by Satan to pull out your pistol and use your weapon mounted light as a flashlight. I don't know. If you believe that, I don't know what goes through your head. Hopefully maybe seeing this has kind of changed your mind, because there is no world or situation in which I could perceive a logical human being would say, well, I have this handheld light and I have this gun I can pull out that has a light on it. I need to find my keys. Which one should I pull out? I think it's a pretty obvious answer. So that argument, like I said, I hear it way too often for how dumb it is. Literally more than once is too often, but I've heard it probably 30 times at this point, uttered in some manner or another, where someone says, if you carry a weapon mounted light, you're going to pull your gun out when you shouldn't, you're going to get arrested. I'm like, what? I just don't get it. So if that's an argument that you make, if that's an argument that you put on the internet, please stop. Please just stop.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more!
There is no world I see where that makes sense. Just carry both. If you have a handheld light and a weapon mounted light, then you're good in all situations. It's just that simple. Alright guys, if you liked the video, if you liked me kind of comparing and contrasting things and talking about some debates you see on the internet when it comes to firearms, go leave a like down below. If you're one of those people that thinks that because I carry a weapon mounted light on my gun, I'm going to one day pull out my gun when I shouldn't and get arrested, well, there's a dislike button for a reason. Otherwise, guys, head in the comments. What handheld light do you carry? What weapon mounted light do you carry? Do you carry a weapon mounted light? Do you carry a handheld light? You should. You should carry a handheld light. Go ahead and leave that in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, subscribe and stay tuned.